I changed a setting and then I got confused. But it looks like we are live. We're live? I think we are. Well, hey guys, welcome to the 5th, and this time actual final, no really, episode of the Tekno SCT410 2.0 short course truck build. We've got a few guys here and I really hope that this is running. I've got El Duderino Lebowski with me and Blitz RC with me at least. Can you guys hear me? Am I actually live? I think I changed a setting in YouTube this morning and I'm a little unsure. I'm just going to pop across to my live controls on the website and just make sure. Here we are, this guy. Enable auto start. No, we are. It's working great. I got everybody. And MShag? MShag? I never know. Anyway, we've got everybody. Thank you for chiming in. Thanks, guys. Yeah, well, the audio is better today than yesterday because we do not have sound cancelling. And yesterday I did because I had my very noisy aircon running next to me because it was a hot day. Today it is not hot, and so we're good to go. And then from now on, I'm going to run with a little lapel mic instead of this. I've got this big blue microphone in front of me. Right, we've done the front shocks now. Yesterday, I forgot to put the little, wherever it is, this little collar thing inside, and we were up to fixing that and reattaching it. After the live stream cut out abruptly, I thought, you know what, I'll just reattach it. So it's on and fine now. It was refilled, rebled, we did the lot. So now we just need to do the rears. We've got 600 CST oil for the rear. Let me see who we got here. We got MS. I never know if it's MShag or MShag, but I know you from Overclockers. Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's correct. And g'day Alan S as well, and Adam as well. I got Alan here as well. Do I have a race class in mind? No, my friend. This is for bashing. I'm a basher. I've got a 9-way and possibly a 10 or an 11-way short course comparison coming up on the channel. We've already done a few of the cars, but no, I'm a basher. The only track stuff I've done is on sealed road. Any idea why it did cut? Well, I tell you what, I only have one theory, and I think it was related to this PC. It's a little micro PC, but it's powerful enough. It's a 11th gen, you know, nice i5, heaps of RAM in it. But the problem was it. I was asking it to do noise cancelling, and I was asking it to do recording because I'm recording these sessions, and it's running the broadcast as well, and it's giving me the previews on the cameras. I've got multiple things attached. I don't know. I think maybe it just ran out of resources, but I don't actually know that. Hey, g'day, Brian. Brian's in as well. MShag. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, okay. I thought I recognised the name. Very good. And this is why we do this. We put hours and hours into this. Yeah, we do get invested into them as works of art. You're absolutely right. Yoo-hoo RC, that's a cool name. And High Society Hobbies. I haven't seen you before. G'day, g'day. Yeah, look, for you guys who haven't been following along from the start, here's what we've got so far. I've just gone with the Hobbywing WP10BL. It's a 120 amp. This is it. And I was going to use a different motor. This comes in a combo, but I didn't have a pinion. This doesn't come with a pinion. So I've ended up just with I ripped this out of one of my Lalos. It's a Surpass Hobby 3050 kV, and it's a 3670. So it's actually quite a long can, nice and torquey. For steering duties, we've got the JX Servo. There you go, CLS HV7332MG. This is actually a servo I use for crawling. 7.4 volts. This is it. Oh, it's just so smooth. It's brushless, which I really like. We've kind of gone premium for this build. Now you can see in the description of this video and the others, just look in the description when this is done, or now if you like. I've got a list with links. And I'm also using the FlySky Noble NB4 Pro. This is a beautiful little radio. I've actually been doing a fair bit of work with radios, and we're going to have I'm going to do a comparison. We've got my favorite cheap radio, which is the, well, cheaper. I guess it's a mid-range. It's still reasonably cheap. The FlySky GT5, 20 model memory, 6 channels, including 2 dials. You've got button, 3-way switch. This is a nice radio, and I like that you can reach it. This is a great radio. I've got 4 of them, 20 model memories, and almost all of them are filled. I don't have it within easy arm's reach, but another great cheap radio is the Dumbo X6, I think is what it's called. But yeah, we're going to use the Noble for this. And this weekend, I also have a social crawling event, and I'll be using this with my BC8 with an 18-channel receiver. This is an interesting little radio. Separate wireless ready chargeable base, removable battery. This thing can charge your phone or a camera, which you can also mount on the front here. So it's a pretty fab radio, and that's what I'm using just in 2-channel mode for this, just because I needed to give it some more time. It's barely been used on the channel. And we're going to run this on 3S. Radio Master, yeah, they should send me an MT12, shouldn't they? I must admit, I'm still kind of a smaller channel. I mean, we've passed 1.5 million views recently, but these manufacturers tend to look at the amount of subs on a channel when they're assessing whether or not to send stuff. I do get a lot of stuff sent to me, but I haven't talked to Radio Master yet, and often I don't get around to it, and I just wait till they contact me. They may or may not. I certainly have the Radio Link RC-8X. That's a nice radio. Yeah, Brian says he always seems to go premium. I used to. I mean, I often do. But look, take this for an example. This is the Boom Racing BRX 02. Absolutely fabulous car. Carbon fiber, twin rails and all the rest of it. I've gone cheap with the steering. Basic brush motor, cheap with the shifting servo. It's a little baby Tekin BXR ESC, and that's like a 1080. And although I went cheap, you still get fine performance. There's no need to go bananas with parts, although it is fun. There's just, I don't think the need is there, but it is nice. We've got a few lefties in the chat here. Yeah, no, it's nice to have that reversible option. It's not the only reversible radio either. There are a few others. Do I have any of them? I'm just looking around my office here because I have radios galore here. No, I don't think I have any other reversible ones here. I think there are a couple of them out there though. Anyway, let's get on with this complex bleed. I'm going to need to leave you guys to chat. Hey, James is back. G'day. Yeah, if I keep reading, I'm gonna just not get anything done. All we've done so far is attach these. So let's get on with it. From memory, we wanted 32. Was it 32 mil? I think that seems wrong. What was it? 37 mil. Oh, these are different shocks. The others, the fronts were 32. These are meant to be 37. So we'll keep going. Good timing, James. Hope you had a good day, mate. I like what you're saying, Brian. Install it once, one and done. But I guess the point I'm making with the cheaper stuff is you can still go a long way. I mean, think of the and look, for fast stuff, premium is nice, but I guess the point I want to make is that cheap stuff is really good these days. Like, really good. We've talked about this on the channel before and in live chats. The amount of value that you get from RC stuff these days is just unprecedented when you take into account the cost of money. You know, what with inflation and all, what you get for your money. So the basic stuff is still very serviceable. The Dumbo RC range, the basic FlySkys, there you go, 37. Can't ask for more than that, can you? 36.9. Close enough. 0.1 of a mil is fine. For crawlers especially, like the Cross RC Emo AT4 that I've shown on the channel a bunch. It's that multicolored American looking SUV. That thing is running, again, cheap stuff. It's like $60 in electronics, and it's been absolutely bulletproof. I've had that out at multiple crawl days. If you look at the RC crawl park video I did a little while ago, I think the title says RC Paradise or Crawl Park, something like that, with the boys. That thing had a very busy day in mud, on rocks, all sorts of challenges, and it did not miss a beat. So you can go a long way with cheap stuff. You can go a bit further with premium stuff, but the cheap stuff's very good. Now, we're doing this on camera. I'm doing everything on camera anyway, but the shock filling instructions are actually quite complex. So we've filled shock oil all the way to the top, and I'm doing this by the instructions because, I mean, we want to do a stock build here, but I also wanted to show just how interesting this is. So we filled it all the way to the top. We've screwed the cap on tight. I've never built shocks like this before. Usually I do this, and then with it compressed, then I'll do the lid up. But this thing has a few more steps. I went over it yesterday, but I'll show you again. Okay, so we've screwed it all the way up tight. Now with the shock at about a 45-degree angle, it says, push the shock shaft to the top of the stroke. Oil should leak out during this process, and it will. I'll try and get it on camera for you. I feel like I'm shooting a different kind of video here. There we go. So oil's come out. Now we need this little fella. Yeah, I consider the 1080 premium as well. And I would also say that there are a couple of other ESCs that are just as good as the 1080 for similar money. They're also quite small in size. There's the Tekno BXR I showed, although it's a bit weaker on the BEC. There's another great one, the Charisma Arc 2. That is a great little ESC. And then there's the i70 and i90, or whatever they're called, those little white ones. We're pretty spoiled for choice these days. Now I'm trying not to crush the little washer here. Might need to take a few goes at it. Oop. I remember admiring my first Vitava as well. It was in the early 90s. Well, it was just so smooth and nice. In fact, the design of that thing back then was still, I think it'd stand up today. There are some blocky, ugly monstrosities out there today. You can tell when someone who knows what they're doing has just taken the effort to model something nicely. Just trying to get this done up without crunching the little O-ring. Have we done it? Still haven't done it. It's popped out in a little knot. Riveting TV, I know, but I want to get this right. You want it to be seated without a hole like that. What? Actually, it doesn't matter at this stage because we've got to pull it out again anyway. All right, so now that you've got the little cap in, it says pump the shock shaft up and down about 20 times vigorously. They're trying to mix air and oil here. With the shock shaft fully extended, remove what they call the emulsion screw, what I would call the bleeder screw. Do the final bleed. Then we again take the 45-degree angle, push and hold the shock shaft to the top, and look, more oil comes out, and this time it's full of air, which it says will happen. And with it still compressed, you stick the screw in for the final time. And that is how Tekno prescribes a shock build. I've never done one like that. I've done a lot of shocks. It's interesting, but I'm having trouble setting this O-ring. I was trying to catch up on the chat, but you guys have just been busy. High Society Hobbies, what's your favorite charger? Well, the FlySky Neo 200 is currently my favorite. Maybe I need to do a video on this because it's a frequently asked question. I've got 5 or 6 chargers. I've got, most of them take 12 volt input, and so I use an adapter. I've got like an 8 amp, 12 volt 8 amp output adapter, and behind me on my face cam, don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you kind of can't. It's there's a white, where my hand is, there's a white Hornet, and there's a big long Dell server. It's about this big. Where are we? Big long server PSU that puts out something like 35 or 40 amps on 12 volts, and I use that to power some other 300 watt 8S dual thing. But yeah, the reason I like the Sky RC, sorry, not FlySky, the Sky RC Neo 200 is that it's a 200 watt when powered by the wall plug, so 240 or 110 volt. But then when you plug 12 volts in directly to another port on it, it's an 800 watt charger. And I've been using that in conjunction with, there we go, I finally got that seated. I've been using it in conjunction with, look, I haven't got it here, but I'll show you the box because I have that here. I've been using the Neo 200 charger in conjunction with this fella. This is a SkyRC BD250. Now I wish I'd bought the BD350, which is a 40 amp, but it actually plugs in directly to the Neo 200 charger, and then you can monitor stuff. But this thing still has a USB-C plug on it, and it's got software you can download, and you can monitor your batteries, and so you can actually test them and see, I don't know if it talks about that or not, but yeah, I use a lot of big batteries now, and I was worried that I was slowly killing the MOSFETs in my chargers. I plug in massive batteries into this thing, and I just don't worry. It'll flatten a full big, like a 6S battery, 5 amp 6S battery. You can have it flattened in like 8 or 10 minutes, no worries. It's not loud or anything, so I really like that. Those two things combined, beautiful for bashing. All right, that's one done. Let's do the other one. I've just messed up my chair. Hang on. Hey, g'day, Nath. Hope you're doing well today. I'm really behind on the chat, but I'm sure you guys are happy chatting away. So here's the last of the shocks on the world's most complex fill. I've never done them like this. Especially not like that. Come on, Craig. It's quite a complex process, this, but I'll do it their way since we're going to review this thing next to all these other short course trucks. We're going to have... Banggood just hit me up the other day and said, tell us which cars to send you. I said, all right, send me these two, because now we're going to bolster out our short course truck round up to 11 or 12 vehicles possibly. Everything from the really cheap to the eye-wateringly expensive. We're going to have quite a big range to choose from. Something doesn't seem right here. Oh no, I nicked the shaft. Well, that's a bummer. I was using paper and everything. We need to file this down. Not getting very far this morning. Just need to get a file, guys. Hang on. Let me see. Just had a little nick on the shock shaft here. You don't want to leave that there. It'll munt the O-rings. All right, let's try that again, shall we? This time with some coordination. So we just want to get some air bubbles out. And I was also noticing it was jamming. Now it's not jamming. That was a nasty little nick. It's nice and smooth now. I'm glad you're not doing too bad today, Nath. Been thinking of you, mate. Yes, Blitz. You, the Yikong. Look. I've been looking at them. I may do it. I've got a shopping list. I'm trying to keep to some kind of sane level of budget here, but things are kind of crazy. I think what'll be next. I mean, I've got 5 or 6 cars still in boxes here, but the here. So 45 degrees, compress, and oil should come out, which it did. Yeah, what's coming next? After all these builds I've got to do, so this is going to be, we're talking February, March next year. It'll be the Cross RC X3. That's the thing with the towing, the tow truck thing. That looks really awesome. All right, so we've got our 45 degrees. We'll stick this in. All right, great. High Society Hobbies. I'm glad you found that helpful. There are cheaper Sky RC chargers than that, and I mentioned the dual one because it's nice being able to charge at a high rate with multiple batteries. And look, I'm often these days before a film session, I'm using all my chargers. So I've got like 5, 6, 7 batteries going at once, however many it is, because you just want everything done. All right, so that's sorry, it's at 20 times vigorously. We're trying to mix oil and air here. Then with it fully extended, then you undo this screw again. Yeah, we've got lots of choice for chargers, and honestly, even the older style ones that you see everywhere for not a lot of money, they're all fine as long as you use balance and not charge when you're doing lifos. You press this in, more oil comes out, and you leave it at 45 degrees for the final screw in, and then you've got a finished shock. So that's interesting, and I think we're good. We've got to get some Aussie slang in here, Nate, occasionally. I actually keep the language fairly clean on my channel because I do have a family friendly kind of thing I'm going for, but I think we can still let Munt make an appearance occasionally. All right, there we go. That's in. Nope, not quite. Come on, little O-ring, you've got one job. Thanks, Mac. Oh no, well, it was nice hanging out, mate. I'll catch you later. I'm hoping this won't be a super long stream either because we haven't got a lot left to do. But it was nice seeing you here. I'm glad you kids love the channel. That's awesome. If anyone's asked me a question, because I'm streaming this, it's not. I'm not going to scroll back up through the chat right now. But if you have a burning question that you wanted to ask, just repeat it here for me. And that way, if I missed it, I'll hopefully see it this time. Yeah, Mac, just don't do it while you're driving. I hate for you to crash one of your lovely scouts. Right, let's get this finished. So we come back to, yeah, we are really nearly done here. Blitz says we need more girls in RC. I always wonder why. There are hardly any, especially these days. I don't know. I suspect if it was attractive, just broadly speaking, then there would be more here if it was something that was interesting. Girls and boys aren't the same. And typically boys will like things that go, and they like just more than girls. Many just don't seem to have any interest. Or, if there is interest, maybe it's a focus on a different thing, like the social aspect. One of my friends, his missus is right into it with him, which is brilliant. Seems to be the exception rather than the norm, but look, I've found most people I know in RC, most, not all, but most, to be very welcoming. And it doesn't matter what your background or who you are, just welcoming. And I think that's the way it can be. I think a good entryway is to have these family events around Christmas and stuff. Just the big social things at the end of the year. They're often a good gateway in. And I'm looking into what we can do with school as well. Something with the kids. Anyway. Hey, g'day Derp. Welcome, mate. Ooh, now there's no O-ring in this shock adjustment thingy because it's plastic on metal. I don't think we want to go too far actually. These are longer shocks in the fronts. Let's have a look here. That's pretty good. The other thing we discovered yesterday was these guys screw in. These are the only 1.5mm screws in the whole build. These little suckers here and this guy. It's been really solid hardware in this Tekno. Hey, g'day Troy. Nice to have you along, mate, and thank you for subscribing. Nath, yeah, I do actually have a lot this week going on, but I was planning on watching along, yeah, for sure. And I can do it from right in here if you want to. I read that you're going to get everyone in that you can. I don't mind dropping in for a bit. That's fine. Happy to do it. Actually, I've got an event coming up on Sunday, so what I'll do is, because I need to do some workshop time, I'm going to park the truck I'm working on in here and I'll work on it during your stream. So if you jump me in during it, that's fine. I'll just keep working. We can work and talk. Alright. There's the tiniest little gap in both of these that the fronts didn't have. I don't know if I missed something or not. Anyway, nice and smooth. Oh, that's going to annoy some people. I've had the color at the top for all of them. Oh, I've just screwed it into. Some people wouldn't care, but Olivia from France, if he's watching, this is for you, mate. I know how carefully you build yours, so I'll build mine the same. Yeah, it should be a busy one tomorrow, Brian, shouldn't it? He's got it all planned out. Good on him. Uh-oh, I stuffed up. These aren't supposed to be sitting on the table after you get the shocks together. These are supposed to be in there. Oh. Okay, let's undo it. Let's see if we can. I'm going to have to bleed this. There's not much getting around it. We'll just have to do it again. I'm going to get the rear end of this car to do some work for us. You hold that while I do this. Deal? I won't upstage it tomorrow, Nath. I've got a few things in boxes here for unmailing as well, but I'll do this off camera because they're all cars. And they're not that interesting to you guys anyway because they're all 1/10 big fellas. Do you know, I might just do this the Craig way. We're not going to do this the Tekno way for this bit. I'll pop him out. No, dear, don't lose that. Fully compress. In fact, throw a little bit more in. Fully compress. Top it up. Actually, it doesn't need to be fully compressed because I got this screw. I forgot. This is actually how I usually do shocks. Well, you fully compress it, and then you put the cap on. But in this case, because we have the bleed hole, we can fully compress it, and with it fully compressed, then you do this up. I know this isn't using the Tekno method now, but I've done enough of these today. I don't know that I've got the wherewithal to keep going this way, and I've just realized I forgot the boots as well. It's almost as if live streaming takes some of my brain away. Who would have thought? Let's get this one done as well. 2 in a row. Yeah, okay. I can bring my mail too. I've got it. If you're sure, I don't know if they're even going to fit in here. We've got they're 1/10 scale boxes, but sure, why not? All right. Should we top this back out? These are really fine threads. They're probably easy to cross thread. So the manual says this, and I would say too, you back it off until you feel it click down, and you can screw it up. And then you know you're not cross threading. All right. And this is what you want to see. You want to see oil coming out the top. And all the way in. There we go. Yeah, well, one of them, you've got the box. Derp says he loves 1/10 scale rigs. The box is trying to coordinate my finger right there next to the infraction behind me, the FMS FJ40. And I didn't know just how nice this was, but it really is. It's quite cool. Can't remember who sent that to me, but it's a pretty sweet car. We'll check that out. Oh, still not in properly. Tell you what, seating these O-rings has been fiddly. Just trying to make it smooth. Did we get it right? Oh, look at that, we did. Just don't know if it's in all the way. Yeah, it is. That was not easy. Not easy. Alright, now we're going to finish this off. Oh boy. I'm not thinking today. It's just one of those days, I think. Yesterday was too. Oh well. What I might do is use the flat part of these. And that way we're not going to nick the surface. I've got to undo these completely because I didn't get the boots on. I don't think that's actually going. We're going now. Nope, still not going. Too much paper. Try it again. No, that's better. Really not much of a fan of doing shocks. They're just so fiddly. Still, you do them right once, and then hopefully that's that, isn't it? And these are very nice boots. Very nice boots. Alright, get that through. Alright. Just reverse that again. Yeah, not a fan of shocks. I didn't mind doing the diffs, but yeah, the shocks are just a little painful. Trying to think if I got the width correct or not. We can get rid of that now. Should be like 38 and a bit. Good enough. Okay. Cover at the top. Yeah, Brian, that was just the fronts, mate. I had to undo it. I hadn't even started the rear ones yet. I mean, it's a fiddly process, but I had to pull one of these apart again, and that's when the stream just cut off abruptly on us yesterday. So I finished that off camera. But because I'm trying to do this whole thing on camera, so we've got the whole build from start to finish, you guys all get to enjoy me tooling away on these things for a while. Good news is we're just about done. Bad news is some of this has to be done twice because I missed a component. Anyway, won't be long. Nearly there. It is nearly ready to rip. G'day, Nixter. We are not far off. We've got one bag left just after we get these shocks on for the second time after I forgot something. But yeah, the car itself is looking really nice. Could make him out of food. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, spring, stick the color at the top. This guy on the bottom, and we are good. Passable. I'm a lot faster at doing shocks now after all that reworking. That was a bit of a stuff around, wasn't it? The rest of this stage is thankfully nice and speedy. Okay, we happy? We're not overextended. I didn't check that on this actually. Okay, so there's a small gap between the bottom of the stroke and this, so I'm just going to bring the preload down to meet it. We might need to tighten it up further once it's on the car. I just want the bottom of the stroke to be with the spring at the bottom with no gap. There's still a little gap there. When I say gap, I mean the gap between the spring and the top of the collar. Good. Alright, now there's a line on one of these two sides. I just realised I haven't been reading the manual. That is always the good path to get into the danger zone. Quickly. Boots, ball, and the rest of it. And the only thing I need to know is, oh yes, so I'll tell you guys, anyone who didn't see yesterday's one, there's a black and a silver screw for the bottom end of the shock. That's because they have opposite threading. And it doesn't say why they have opposite threading, but my theory is, so you got silver there and you got black there. My theory is, as these shocks go up, they exert a little bit of pressure on the screw, which wants to encourage it around a certain way. And so they've done the threading so that they get encouraged to do up and not undo. So it's just a clever little addition to the design to stop the things coming undone. Now, we want these screws to the outside. There are 2 holes on the arms. Just a little bit more of this extreme adjustability from Tekno. And it says to use the inside hole, which is what we're going to do. There we are. And it also says I think the black goes on the left of the car, and because we're facing forward, this is the right, so this should be silver. They also say shock length and droop, and then the stock rear ride height, and then you can tune from there. And the back of this manual has a bunch of tuning information as well. Was silver the reverse thread? Yes. Yeah, it needs wheels, doesn't it? Craig, have you seen the Toyota Land Cruiser that RC-TNT made? No, I haven't, actually. I'm going to have some videos loaded for a couple of weeks' time away, but I'm going to take a couple of weeks off, probably from Christmas to New Year's, and I'll catch up on YouTube then, because I've barely watched YouTube. Almost no YouTube RC stuff, actually. I'm pretty out of touch with what's going on. I've just got so much going on here. It's funny, I do so much with RC, but I'm also under a rock. I'm not fussed that stuff's behind, because I have no hope of getting the latest releases, because stuff coming from America is it's always slow. Like, we've finally just got the Nightwalker in Australia from Element in the last 2 weeks, finally. The U-Tron only arrived about a month ago, and then that was news in July. Okay, shocks are in at the bottom, and then the top is just these flange lock nut things. I'm going to have to check out RC-TNT. A few people have told me about that, and also Crawler Canyon, was it? People have been mentioning I should check out. I probably won't look at Crawler Canyon until after I've done my Epic Tire test, because I think it was Crawler Canyon that has all his own tire test series. And I've tried to get every tire from every manufacturer for mine. It's going to be the biggest, and it's not. I haven't got all of them, but we have a lot. And that is also going to use a fair bit of January. It's just going to be a lot of work. All right, I think we now have a complete car as far as driveline and suspension goes. That's kind of exciting. It's very pretty, isn't it? Just a good looking car. Right, the wheels, for anyone wondering, I've chosen Louise SC Rock. I don't know if this autofocus helps or hinders half the time. But first we have another bag, and that's going to be body mounts and side impact. Oh, and I also noticed, I just had a quick look while I was waiting for the live stream to load before. Optional air control guards. If that doesn't scream race tuning, I don't know what does. How about that? That also looks very much like something you could just go and make, doesn't it? And the holes for that in part are all along the side of the body here. Interesting. I also just noticed this doesn't have screws in it. Quick look here. Did I miss anything? Oh, I didn't. That's for the bumper, which is multi-piece as well. All right, let's get into it. The body I have is this fella. It's a J. I don't know what that was. Something. Oh, it's just a drill. Whew. It sounded expensive, whatever it was. This is the J Concepts High Flow, I think it's called. Oh, yeah, there you go. J Concepts High Flow body. And we've got a few mounting points. So I'm going to need to work out what to cut We have a hole cut out the middle there for airflow, and that's what we're using. Yeah, I'm looking forward to driving it too. Yeah, nice wide body fenders. I guess it's a short course. Most of them do. Okay, let's have a look here because I'm not familiar with this part of things. Really sturdy looking body mounts. Front and rear differ a little bit. The rear has a bigger gap in it, and they just tell you how and where to cut stuff. They've got sold separately pieces to adapt to different bodies and stuff. Then we've got a bumper to do. We're doing the side impact stuff here as well. And after that, then it gets to the tuning I was telling you about. Ride height, camber, toe, droop, bump steer modification. Plenty more actually. Diff tuning, camber links, wheelbase adjustment even. Changing pistons, springs and sway bars and the effects of that. And then how to take care of it when you're running. It's a lot of good quality info. Oh wow. There's even a setup sheet. So it's got the stock information for a lot of this. Sorry. There you go. There. It's like when you're a kid, you're trying to do stuff in the mirror, and it's difficult. So suspension and shocks to the front and rear end, bracing, and also how you've set up the hinge pins and stuff like that. Because we had a lot of options here. See, when I was doing the links, you have just so many different options here for front and rear. It really is good. And then they've got a naming method. So there's the A, B, C, D for the front and rear. Then they've got numbers as well. So it's like A4, B2. So you can name what things are. Yeah, sweet as. Right, let's get this finished. Enough of that. Final bag. Woo-hoo. You guys are funny. Got your own little party going on in the background. We have a lot of screws here. Bumpers, parts for the bumper. Don't know why I've got those two little bits left over. I don't think I missed anything. Or did I? No spare body pins, Tekno. After all that beautiful setup, it's usually one thing you get spare of. These are lovely solid things too. Okay, we'll put them separately. What do we got? Are these all the same size? No. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Wow. Man, there's some hefty, hefty wheel nuts. These might be the nicest ones I have. Gee whiz. Very nice. Oh, that's very cool. So these will sit over the curve at the top there, so we've got to get rid of these. Little bowls. Geez, you want to make sure you get that right before you start cutting stuff. Yep, it is. See you, Nath. Catch you tomorrow. And Brian. I'll see you guys on the stream tomorrow at some point. Sprue, is that the name? I feel like I've come across that word before, but I don't remember. Yeah, they're pretty nice too. There's like a rubbery, silky feel to them, but they're also quite rigid. Yeah, very nice pieces of plastic, these. Very nice. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. It was good. Well, we'll see how these shocks go, Mac. You say you need a set of these shocks. We shall see. There are thankfully lots of pretty sweet shocks on the market these days. We're absolutely spoiled for choice. Alright, now, wider was rear, narrow was from the front. Yeah, I feel like I've encountered the word, but I haven't heard it for years, and I couldn't have told you what it was out of the blue. But now that you say it in context, rings a bell, because more recently you hear people calling them parts trees. But sprue. There you go. I was interested in the strength of this part actually because I've been doing some 3D modeling, and I know when you put holes, there's nothing here with holes on the arm, but if you put holes across a stress point, that's a weakness. This is just a solid block on the weak part. How? Okay, so there is some bend to it. I was curious about this, but there's a little bit of muscle involved in doing that. These are the same. These are very, very nice pieces. Now they're not symmetrical front to rear. There's a longer piece on both of them, so we'll pay attention to that. I've just finished popping these other pieces off this sprue. See, I sound pro now. I've got the right words. See you, Brian. I was hanging out, man. Catch you tomorrow. Okay, I think we are good. Look at that. That's a bit of a mess, dude. Where's my knife? That is really, really solid plastic. That's one done. Probably shouldn't worry too much, given this is not a crawler. I don't need to worry so much about making it pretty since it's going on a fast car. Okay. Sprue comes from the channel they inject the plastic through to fill the mold. Could you guys just using your words? That's nice. Thanks for the vocab boost. Sometimes something like that unlocks a childhood memory. Okay, we've got just 2 screws on this page. We've got the bigger fellas. It says 4 of these. Where are the buttons? That'll be them. And we've got 20 of these fellas. And 3x14. Right, let's get into it. I haven't charged this drill for a while actually. We'll see if it makes it through. They're all 125, yes they are. And there's no front or rear bias for these pieces. Sweet. Let's get it done, Craig. Come on. Let's talk. More do. They're actually fairly firm. Alright, plan B. We'll align them first. It's a lovely kit. Although, there are cheaper kits if you want to build something nice just for the sake of building something nice. And you're into crawling, Mac. The Gmade GS02F is a fabulous build. Really satisfying. In fact, it might be the most fun build I've ever done. it was a work of art, that one. Hang on, nope. Let me look at this. They are polarized. I need to show you guys what I'm seeing here. There's a gap at the top here, and there's flush. Oh no, I did it right. So there's room for the screw head here. They've gone to great care to make this kit. So when this goes in, be really careful not to overdo it. So now that little round piece is sitting right. The plastic sits over the head of the screw, and it comes flush, just dead flush with the edge of that. That's beautiful. Now that we've been playing with crawlers for so many years, when I hear a drill doing this, you already know, oh, PWM must be 1,000 or lower, 1,000 hertz or lower. I need to get a nicer controller into these drills so that they're silent. Into these brush drills. Maybe I should just buy a brushless one. Yeah, I'm just being silly. If it works, I'm happy. Alright, front is the narrow fella, and my eyesight's not what it used to be. It's longer in the rear, longer to the inside, shorter on the outside. Alright. And they have the screw heads on the outside. Here is that, and here is that. Now we will need to test this later. I'm not cutting anything. I might just pick the middle hole for everything for now. Lower the body post as far as possible without having the tire rubbing. Oh, of course. Alright, look, we'll start at the bottom and we'll see. Oh, no. We're going to mount it higher at the start because I haven't cut the holes yet. This is going to help me guide it in. So we'll use the midpoint and I can change it later. Certainly doesn't need to be tight. How rigid are what's supposed to be? These things? I mean, you want some bend, right? And there is some bend, like I was saying before. Is it enough that you can do it with one hand? Yeah, probably. And I'm fairly strong in my hands. There's some bend, but not a lot. It's probably about right, honestly. I don't know if it's still the case now, but Traxxas for some years, I think their body mounts were a little bit too soft, and so you'd end up with the plastic would slowly bend over time. It's not supposed to, but it would. I'd prefer a bit more fiber in their polymer like this one, or the aftermarket RPM ones. They were just a bit more rigid, and so they wouldn't warp over time just from gravity, the effects of gravity and use. There's quite a bit of engineering, even though these are just kind of toys. They're clearly there's a lot of thought and planning that has to go into these. Right, now I see many screws. Six for each of these. Does it need 6? We're going to do them. You'd think they would have gotten away with 4. I mean, the body's only on with 1 at the end of the day, but not a criticism, I'm just rambling really. Right, let's do the front. And the front is the narrow one, and the long piece goes on the inside. We know this because we've already looked at it. This sits against it on this side. Let's have a look at the holes. There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should just go plop, and look at that. And you know we've got the alignment correct because there are no holes on that side, and they've got to come through from the front. Beauty. Don't want to go in too fast because I don't want to melt plastics and stuff. Although this is plenty fast for heat. That's a bit of a reach. We might need to use a hand tool for this. See if we can get a bit more reach out of this first. It might work. Maybe, maybe not. Even just getting one extra done it with the drill is helpful. Can we reach this bottom one? Kinda, sorta. I'll bend that down. Maybe we can get most of the way. I'll finish it by hand, that's fine. Oh. All right. So here's another little thoughtful design. There's a little, sorry, this autofocus is not great, is it? There are these little cutouts here just on the plastic just to allow a screwdriver through for this step. There. There's plenty of care that went into this. The other kit that had a lot of care into its construction was the Vanquish portal. The what was it called? Was it VS410? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, that also had this kind of thoughtful design. That was partly why I went on about it in my videos when its performance was subpar on the rocks. Clearly a lot of care went into that rig. I just wanted to see it reach its potential. And we got there, didn't we? But we just had to re-engineer its geometry, shock length and link length, and it came out pretty nicely. Oh, this is starting to look complete. And it's the same deal on this. Ooh. Yeah, it's a beautiful design, isn't it? Every little thing. Oh, one of you guys might be able to help me here, since I'm still getting the hang of this live stream thing. Is there someone at their keyboard right now who can give me their attention for just about a minute, just with some feedback? Because I just want to do a timed thing. Just give us a hoy in the chat. Just say, yep, I'm up. I just need one person. What I want you to do is to respond in chat, and I'm going to just watch the time. Okay, thanks, mshag. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just playing with latency. So in a sec, I'm going to say just be prepared to type, guys. Just I don't care what, just get a letter ready to go, like a response. Just say the letter T, and you press it as soon as you hear me say it. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, send. So give me the letter T as soon as you heard that, and if you missed it, we'll do it again. I just want to know how long until I see you guys reply. Thank you. So we had with my reaction time and your reaction time, it's a 9-second latency. Thank you. The reason I wanted to know that, thank you very much for that, was when I ask questions, sometimes I wonder, how long until they've actually heard this? Because although it says live, it isn't actually live. And this is actually, I've stepped it up to the middle step. Apparently I had it on the lower setting before. Oh, that's interesting, Derp. It hits one faster than the other. That's odd, actually. So I do know now we've got a 9-second delay roughly between me saying and doing stuff and you guys actually seeing it. It's just good to know. I have to finish this one by hand because in the YouTube studio settings, I don't know how interesting this is to any of you guys, but there's normal, low and ultra low latency, and usually I've been using normal and that always felt like quite a delay. Today I've changed it to low just to see, and I suppose ultra low might be something like 4 or 5. But the lower the latency, the lower the video quality, because it's just trying to get it onto your screens as fast as possible. In future I'll probably go back to normal because it's more likely then that you get the full 1080 that I'm filming in. I imagine you're just getting 720 on this. Okay, side impact bars next. Look at it. Oh, this is pretty. It's quite a hefty thing too, this. Quite a hefty thing. This is your other channel, Mullard. So is that actually what we search for, is it? M-U-L-L-A-R-D. I might be able to click on that, I'm not sure. I'll come back to that later. Okay, check this out. So we've got these D-shaped things coming out from the side, right? These side impact things have a gap for that, and then they've got a screw mounting on each side of it, so you're going on and all the way through. They're flat on one side and they go down on the other, and the flat goes up and they go on the middle. So they just pop in like that, and now we can see all the way through, and then the screws go down through the top, which is these long fellas. That is very nice indeed. Oh, just a trolling account. Then maybe I won't bother trying to find that one later. I still need to watch your carpet mountain thing actually. Put it down, Craig. There we go. Oh, that's beautiful, that is. And it's in. It's pretty nice, eh? Pretty nice. Alright, we'll do the other side. Gee, we're nearly done. Still need to cut the body to fit. I haven't bothered making my own little crawling course yet for the 124s. It might be something I get to next year, we'll see. Because we've also started playing with faster stuff and monster trucks, and I want to get some plywood or some marine ply and just make up some nice monster truck jumps and stuff. Just like Big America uses on Instagram. I just want to get some nice little steps and things, just have a real play. Man, that's just a thing of beauty, isn't it? She's not light. Okay, air control stuff. Let's build a bumper. Actually, I know we're busy here, guys, but I need a quick break. I just realized it's time for medication and things. I'll be back in within 5, hopefully sooner. Here are some trucks. Most of you have seen these by now, but back in a minute. Boom. No, not that one. Try again, Craig. There we go. Alright, see you guys shortly.
is almost not wide enough. Good, I'm glad you're happy.
Okay. Now, the scales. Thanks for waiting, guys. I am back, and I've got my scales here. So here we are. Boom. Right. Now remember, the weight's going to vary. We're 2.5 kilos exactly. 5.44 pounds. It says let's say 2.475 kilos. 2470 grams. Now remember, different servo, ESC and motor will affect that weight. So it's not always going to be your battery's about to die. Well, you better get off your phone, Max, so your wife can still let you know about the emergency supplies you need. Oh, now that didn't include the bumper, did it? Just under 2.5 kilos, that's the answer. Cool. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll smack together a slightly longer and more varied hold thing. See if we can get some construction stuff into the hold video, because that might be a good place for it. Now we have these hefty boys that are part of the bumper. M Shag, you say this is a big block, right? And remember, what was it, 3670? Yeah, it's a 3670. Olivia from France yesterday was on, and he's got all the Tekno stuff. He has 15 Tekno cars. He's kind of hyper-focused on this particular model, if you hadn't guessed. And he's running a 4268 motor, so very slightly shorter than this, but bigger diameter, 42 instead of a 36. And he runs it on 4S. You want to talk big block? That'd be that. I possibly will change to that too. It's not within easy reach here. It's under stuff, because I have a lot of cars in this office here, just running RC-TNT. Because we're sitting inside the data retriever little clean lab, which you'd know from Overclockers, right? I sponsored Overclockers for years. I've got so many cars in this small building now. Things are stacked, but one of my Lalo speed cars is running a 4274 motor, which would probably fit. I mean, let's have a look here. I'll show you. With the ESC sitting there, can we fit things in? It's going to be a challenge. Maybe. What I'm trying to do is get a depth. Maybe we'll try from this end. It's not going to work. All right, we'll have to use this method instead. That's okay. What have we got? Let's just calibrate. So I've got 68. There we go. And this is a 68 mil can, right? So a 74. Oh, it's not, actually not that much longer, is it? And then you can even get a 90. That's surely not going to fit. Yeah, you'd need to. Yeah, what I wanted to know was, will the 74 fit between here and the tray? And it looks like it would. So I could put a 4270 or 4274 in here. I do have one, and run it on 4S, because this thing will run 4S. Interesting. Now we have this little plate here. Well, right, it does sound unusable. I thought what I did was fine, but again, this guy yesterday was saying he has a lot of these cars, and he thinks it's perfect. I don't know. Maybe it is. Let's understand what's happening here. Oh yeah, good. I thought I was doing something wrong. I was. That's better. So these should be these little fellas, and they are. Oh, okay. Another set of 1.5 mil screws. So there are 6 or 8 little 1.5 mil screws on this whole build. They're almost all of them are 2 mil or 2.5 mil. It's very nice. Oh, and these are keyed. They're little dots. Little dots here. I can't quite get the focus right, but you can probably get an idea if I get the angle right. Anyway, there we go. See those little dots? And then the little holes here, there. So they align. They only go in one way. So they're keyed, which is good. So they should kind of snap in. Maybe not. There we go. There is a center diff hiding under there. Yes, there is indeed. The center diff and the front diff are running 15K CST, and the rear is running 10K CST. There is absolutely a center diff. I can't actually imagine a world where Tekno releases a premium kit like this without a center diff. even with all my moaning about the Slash's excessive price from that recent video I did of the Slash 4x4 VXL, I later learned that you can fit the Hoss center diff in the Slash, replacing the slipper assembly, which is really what that car needs to be as good as the others that actually have center diffs. And I also read there's one you can do for the Sentin as well, from one of the 4S BLX cars. I think it was that. Anyway, a center diff makes all the difference. Alright, let's get our brains in gear here. This fella with the concussion impact bar, and this is why this is rounded here if you're new to this stuff. See how it kind of bends in on impact? That's what it's there for. Yeah, well, I think that's the point. It helps you keep the power down. What was I just videoing yesterday? I'm reviewing so many cars at the moment. What was it? I can't remember. It was something that had a center diff and heaps and heaps and heaps of power. Okay, so the long ones go in the middle, the shorter ones go on the outside. Come on, Craig, what was it? It was something fast. I can't remember what the car was. Oh, whatever it is I'm editing right now. I've talked about it already. What was it? Anyway, it has a... Oh, yeah, okay, so it was the Team Corrali Kagama XP6S. It's Team Corrali's answer to the Kraton. And to my... Here's a spoiler. To my experience with it, it handles, with those big heavy wheels and the absolutely crazy punchy motor, it handles like an Armour Outcast, even though it looks like an Armour Kraton. So it handles like the shorter, fat-tired stunt truck. You just breathe on the throttle and it'll perform multiple backflips, even just off the ground once you're already rolling, or even from still actually. But that thing has a center diff and it's way too loose. As soon as the front picks up, those front tires are ballooning out, so it really wants center diff to be thicker to slow that down, to try and keep some of that power being applied to the rear. It's certainly an experience, that car. Alright, that's the rear. This is really nice. And the front's the same deal. This is the very mild little front bumper. And it's not got any polarity, so to speak. There we go. Oh, g'day, Chris. Yeah, it does, eh? You got the plastic chassis AK787. It's a bit naff with the fixed power distribution. Right. Did I read something about the Relolos having an option for a center diff? Let me think. I feel like I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like someone worked out a center diff for that thing. It's really what it wants. And I haven't used the 787. I've got obviously a couple of the AK917s, but a center diff would really, really help. Since you're here and interested in Lolo, well, if you're still interested after buying it and not liking it, they're currently working on a 1/7 or 1/6 scale. They're still working out what to do. It's going to have the same overall dimensions as the infraction here. Same 406mm wheelbase, and they're just working out the overall length of the car and the width and stuff. Alright, there we go. Finally. Beautiful. Oh, I can't wait to drive this. I think we just finished. I just got to stick the wheels on and fit the body. Do we fit the wheels on the body? Do I do the body? Yeah, look, let's get the wheels on. Do these have a bias? I mean, it's the least biased wheel ever. Square blocks. And I'm just using their default hex nuts. But you could probably add more. Now, the only hardware I have left over after that entire build is a grub screw and a washer. Did I miss something in this build? I'm not sure. Oh, and also the temporary things, a couple of spacers, a couple of shims from the diffs. This is what you end up with, and I don't think that was on it. There. This one too? Yes. So that's what's left over after a Tekno RC build where you didn't forget anything or leave anything out, as far as I can tell. No guarantees, no refunds. Outcome not guaranteed. Funds sold separately. Right, let's get these wheels on. How exciting. So just to recap, since we're at the tail end of this thing now, it's a premium kit, body not included, wheels and tires not included, pinion not included. You need a Mod 1 pinion. Out of the box, without buying additional pieces, you can use a 16. This is too small. You can use a 16 to a 20 tooth Mod 1 pinion, and the gearing setup is for anywhere from a 2400 kV to a 4600 kV motor, and a 36 mil diameter motor is recommended. Brushless is recommended. Look at the steering angle. Now these are unis. Anyone who's sat through the many hours of this build will remember just how nice they are. Sorry, I made a bit of a show about that, but look at this. Get the angles right. Look at that. That's a heck of a turning angle. Wow. This has all the promise of amazing steering in exactly the way the Kyosho USA 1 doesn't. What a sweet little rig this is, eh? It's a lot of turning. Yeah, wheel dirt trip. AK-787 is a worthy shelf queen anyway. Yeah, it's a beautiful car. Come on. They're still working out what body to stick on the new bigger scale 1617 thingy. There's a vote. Oh, I think the vote's closed now, but there are a few guys active on it. It's raoforum.com. raoforum.com. Edison Rao, however you say his last name, he's the owner of Relalo. And if you want to see a trippy video, go and check out his latest, could even be his first Relalo video on YouTube, which introduces the Rao Forum and the fact that they're going to build a 1.6 and they're inviting people to come and test it, to contribute ideas. They're giving away some new radio as well. I need to look into that, I suppose. You'll also need your own box wrench for this. It's an 8 mil socket. So your standard 7 mil socket, if you have a standard wrench, it will not fit this car. It's just 1 mil too small. And you also need your own electronics. Check the description. I've got the electronics I've used in this build. And if you've only turned up for this video and you missed the first couple, or especially the first one, the aim for this is to build it to bash. Sad as that might be for some people, I'm not a track guy. If we had a local club and they had a track and stuff, yeah, I'd definitely go and check it out. I might build something one day and get a club going, but we currently have a club that we're building for crawling, so one thing at a time. But this will be for bashing, and so I've built it using default specs. Now that we're past doing the close-up, let me just zoom this sucker out, because now we've got to do some work with the body. It's about 6 clicks to get this here. Let me see here. There we go. We'll just zoom it right out. We don't need a close-up for this stuff. Okay, get some stuff out of the way. They also include more thread lock than you'll ever need for a single card. Now Now we're going to do some radio testing. We're going to fit the body, and then I suppose I better head out and film. Well, actually, I've got a few other cars I'm filming, but all right, there we go. Look at that. She's beautiful. Now, I've never, after all the cars I've built, I've never gotten a body reamer tool. I've always just used a drill bit. Where's my body? Do you know what? Before it gets cold, I'm just going to drink my coffee. There we go. Look at that. I did the body first because I don't like doing bodies, so I just got it out of the way. Winning. Yeah, we literally just have to attach the body now. That's it. So we need to align it, and I'll need to work out where to drill. A couple of ways to do that. One way is to use a paint marker, and you can paint the top of the things one at a time. Make sure you line it up dead straight and just tap it on and tap it off. If you have a light colored interior, you'll see exactly where to drill. The preset holes aren't always going to be correct, or the divots that the manufacturer gives you, because it's for different cars. It looks to me like these holes are actually correct though, but I need to just drink my coffee before it's stone cold, then we'll have a play. Have I missed anything in the chat? I think we're on top of things, aren't we? Okay, now if anyone's interested in the 8x8 that you saw in my Be Right Back video just before, I'm going to have it on the bench tomorrow here during RC Remedy's live stream, where he's going to try and have as many guests on as he's had from the past videos, because it's his 20th episode. And I'm just going to be working on that because I'm using it this weekend and I need to replace the shifting servo. So we'll have that apart. There's an 18 or 12 or an 18 channel receiver for the Noble NB4 Pro as well. Now I've got my body posts up high. Let's just try this upside down. I just want to see if I can eyeball where everything sits. So if you want to see that the 8x8 drop in on RC Remedy tomorrow, and we'll be working on it. Now that's about bang on, and I can see, even though you guys can't, I can see that doesn't actually line up with any of these holes. Yeah, Derp, I got that. He said that on one of his channel posts or something yesterday, or maybe it was Instagram, I don't remember. I'm just going to go sideways so we can make sure that the wheel arches and the bumpers and everything align. This body, I wish it was about just 1% smaller. It's not quite right. Like it is, but it's just not quite right. It overhangs both ends of the bumpers just by the teeniest amount. And just a 1% reduction in size would be ideal, because we're going to have to do some cutting here as well, I'd say, unfortunately. Yeah. It's not perfect. It's close enough, and we're going to use it. You know what? I've got the Hobeo 10 SC here. I've built that already. That was it was a kit, but it was mostly assembled. Just let me grab that body real quick. Alright, you can hear me dodging around cars and stuff. It is very busy in here. Now let's not knock anything over. I need you. Get rid of you. This is another car in the upcoming, well, it's already in progress in my 110 scale short course truck, desert truck, trophy truck comparison. This is the Hobeo 10 SC. It was a kit, but it came with the wheels, and you just had to build the shocks basically, and install the wheels. They're plastic wheels. It's got a hefty center diff there, and this is a nice little kit as well. It's also running, pardon me, It's also running on the same radio. We're not getting into this today because I will actually do, after I've done all the individual videos for each of these cars, we're going to do one big roundup for all the cars. But what I wanted to see was this as yet unpainted body. I just wanted to see how it sits on the Tekno, because the J Concepts body is just a little bit big for my liking, and I just wonder how different they are. Yeah, I don't know. Certainly, given that this is made for just one car, whereas the J Concepts is made for heaps, this thing has very precise wheel arches, whereas the J Concepts has much bigger cuts to give you the flexibility. So if this just miraculously happened to be perfect, I would have used it. But as it doesn't, we'll pop this back on and get it out here. And then we better get on with this body. We're so close to being done. Just got to cut some holes, haven't we? Anybody here running a Hobeo? I mean, I'm asking a panel of 11 people, so I know the chances are probably low, but if any of you are running a Tekno or a Hobeo, I'd be interested. This thing certainly weighs a lot less than the Tekno, and people speak quite well of it too. Alright, we're going to go back to what I was doing. We're going to mark this up and we're going to just get it done. I've done this back to front, have I? That's better. Yeah. That would suck, wouldn't it? Should have this body on a sheet, really. It's actually very close to the inside part. Yeah, it is a narrow chassis. Hey, g'day Tim. The battery sits kind of up front, and it'll still fit a long one. You can see the battery area in there at the front there. It's still quite lengthy, and there is room for it to be quite long. But it's a very lightweight little thing. I'm just being super careful. I just want to get this right once. We're very close to it being aligned correctly. Very close. I think that's pretty much bang on. We're just making completely sure here. I don't want to stuff this up. It's not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. Alright, I'm happy with that end. Very carefully. This end's not quite straight. Alright, that is about as good as it's going to get. I need a tiny marker. Just a sec, guys. Can't actually reach it. What I'm going to do is just make sure it sits where I think it sits. So I'm going to put the body posts on top of the hole I made. And sorry I can't give you a camera angle on what I'm doing here. Alright, they align. So we got that right. What I did was I eyeballed exactly where it's going to sit, drew on it, and then put them back on top of those dots that I drew to make sure I was happy. What I should do now is perhaps cut those holes and then do the fronts, because then it'll be a guarantee. Yeah, I think I'll do that actually. It's just inside there. I'll still draw it now because I can see where it's supposed to be. Just inside and a bit more of a shallow angle. I'm just going to cut the rears first and then we'll see if we're happy. I'll cut a small lead hole first actually, probably for the best. Now people use a body reamer. I don't have such a tool, I never have. I've always just used this, or sometimes you can even start it with something like this and you just make a small, in fact I'm going to do that here very carefully so it doesn't stab through. Just make a small dent and that guides your drill bit or your reamer. I think this is actually quite a blunt bit from memory too. It's alright. And we're in the dent now. Beautiful. I'll get a bigger piece that's not blunt, a bigger bit in a minute. We're just going to line up the post with these and then I'll do the fronts as well. And I'll make sure I'm completely happy. Just lined up with the dent. Alright. I don't have a reamer, Derp. I've never invested in one. Probably I should. But I'm just going to drill it with a bigger bit actually. Oh, I did scratch the top of the lid. Well, that wasn't real bright, was it? I mean, I meant to do that just to show you guys what not to do when you're live streaming. It was all intentional. That would have been nice. Okay. It's actually even more narrow than that. Alright, that's the rear. That's what I should have done. Slide it around on that. Now, are we on the dots? Did I get them right? Yes, I did. Brilliant. Gold pointy thing. Yeah, there's no reamer here. What you probably saw was a drill bit. I'm not sure what else you saw. It wasn't a reamer. But honestly, a drill bit works just fine. We're going to make our guide indentations. just swap it out for a bigger bit. Now, I do actually have a tool that finishes off the edges after you do the offcuts, and they're often a bit of a mess. One of these stepper bits, you then go down to the next layer, and it just cuts out beautifully, exactly how you want it. I'll show you in a sec. Now this bit also isn't quite big enough, so we'll end up using the stepper. This is actually the same size as the body post. So what we'll do, actually, yeah, we're also gonna we'll do this shortly. We might as well get it done in the same video. This is just going underneath where the hole's going, so I don't drill into my perspex space here. Everything's stable. You can do high speed and it kind of melts. If you do low speed, it cuts. I've always done low speed. Well, I've done high speed, but I don't like how it cuts. Oh, right, that's what you saw, the stepper. It's called a stepper bit. It's probably got another name as well. People like naming stuff. So I'm just going nice and slowly because I want to keep the heat down, because otherwise polycarbonate will melt and then it can warp, and then you don't get the same nice straightness that you're after. I'm using very little pressure. Oh, and then it just fell through. I actually didn't think it would do that. So if you go fast, this hole ends up being an absolute mess. If you go slow, see, look how neat that is. That's from a drill bit. You wouldn't expect that to be quite so smooth, would you? If you do this fast with Lexan, if I have a Lexan offcut, I'll show you. I don't. What ends up happening on the other side of the hole is it's just like, just all hard and yuck, and then you got to cut it and stuff. If you go nice and slow like that, honestly, it looks like it's coming from the factory like that. So that's actually a very satisfying cut. We'll do the same on the rest of them, and then we'll see what size we need to step it up to. But yeah, just slow is the key. Keep the heat down. This is probably going to bang down again. Sorry if you're wearing headphones. I just didn't want to vary the pressure at all, so I just thought I'll just let it finish. That was probably a little faster than I wanted. Let's see if it was any worse off. Yeah, see, that melted a shade just a tiny little bit, so it's actually not quite as neat as the other one. It's really hard to get this thing to focus. It does have a set point I could manually do, but anyway. This has just a very slight bit of bearing and melted edges, so slower is the key. But we're nice and symmetrical. The size is not quite right. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to use the stepper, and we currently have what looks to be a 6mm hole. We're going to go, because these have like a slope, what's the word, a chamfer, we're going to go out to 8, but I won't go all the way through, and then on the other side I'll do it too, and then you'll have just a really nice little hole. Let's do the other end. So this is why I've never bothered with a reamer, because I'm quite happy with this method. But, you know, it's a hobby. You find your own way there. If you're happy, great. Yeah, slow for the win, that's right. Thanks, Noisy Boy. Also, hi, Noisy Boy. Yeah, the first cut was slow and it was beautiful. You go faster with these things, you stuff it. That's why reamers are hand tools. You get the most precise cuts with a reamer. You could even do this by hand, but meh. Diminishing points of return, really. Go slow with a bit like this and you're laughing. It's about to bang through probably. Sorry if you're wearing headphones. Use the pre-cut tool. Yeah, fair enough. Feels like it's about to go. Come on. There we go. Alright. That was even worse than the last one. And the first cut was brilliant. That's alright, we've got our little stepper bit. We'll clean it up in a minute. I was quite happy with the first one. Oh, that's pretty good actually. That's pretty good. Alright, last one. I guess I should invest in Arena eventually, but meh. These drills really could use a nicer ESC, couldn't they? Need to mod a 1080 into it. Bit better low speed control. Alright. How are we looking? How are we looking? Yeah, they're actually pretty neat holes. That's good. So let's just... actually, where's my bag of tricks here? Ah, can't find it. Just a sec, guys. Okay. I just hit it with a... oh, stuff my chair. I hit it with a microfiber cloth. Man, I'm bummed I scratched that roof. I should have been using this thing from the start. Oh well, it's going to get worse when it hits the road, isn't it? Okay, get this out of the way. Get the car. Let's see how we're looking here. Now these holes aren't quite the right size, but they're just going to inform what I do next. The stepper's going to take out just a shade on both sides. I'm just making sure I'm happy. Oh, this sits so nicely. I can't wait to drive this thing. It's going to be really good. Yeah, we just need to go a little bit bigger. Just a shade bigger. Alright, so what we'll use is the stepper. Get you out the way again. And we're going to be extra super duper careful here. You see that chrome 4-way? Traxxas Gasser chrome 4-way. Oh, right, I see. No, this comes with armors. Actually. But I needed it for this car because the 7mm socket didn't fit. It takes an 8mm. So that's what I'm using. Now this is going to be the most careful thing I've done on this whole build, ever so carefully. It won't matter if we go to the next size, but I actually want it to just use the chamfer on the stepper, just to eat a little of it. Yeah, it's probably similar. I mean, these tools have all been similar. How different can they really be? Maybe we do want to take that hole out, actually. It'll make it easier to fit the body. So right now we have a nice little chamfer on the hole, and they are nice and precise. Just going to run it on the top for a sec. That's where it's messier. That was the exit hole on that drill bit. This seems a little blunt. I might need to do something about that. That's better. That one cut like it should. I reckon we should probably go to the next size up. I don't want it to be super snug. I want a little bit of movement to make it easier to put it on and off. Let me just compare what we're doing here. I know this is the slow part of this video, but 6.6, 6.2. It really is kind of halfway between them, eh? You want to convert your Revo too? I don't know. I get it. Problem with going electric on that older design of the Revo is that you start snapping bulkheads, especially at the front if it's got too much power in it. I'm tempted just to go right through this, you know. I'm going to let the chamfer do its job though. Chamfer being the angle between, it's like the transition between the 6 and the 8. Definitely, I'm starting to see why a reamer makes sense when I haven't got the exact right drill bit. I must have the right drill bit sitting around here somewhere. I might even have it sitting next to me actually. I've got a few different kits here with bits. Alright. Just trying to see how close I can get without overcooking it, you know. Where are the... There they are. Yeah, it's close. Yeah, it's close. Oh, you just cracked a custom painted Kraton 8S body on the weekend. And it doesn't sound surprising when you say it out loud. If you're comfortable saying this in the chat, M-Shag, are you in Melbourne or you're in South Australia? I used to have a feel for where people were from Ocals, but I can't remember now. I'm just going to get a bigger bit. Let's see what we got here. I think all my tools are elsewhere. Do we just go the whole way? Alright, I'm going to make an executive decision here. It's starting to get warm in here as well. We're going to need this noisy aircon. I know we've slowed right down, but we're kind of experimenting here. So what I'm going to do, I've just gone through to the bigger hole. I just want to see how that feels on the body. There's a bit of movement on it, but it's not too bad, honestly. What's a typical body mount look like? Yeah. They're all a bit closer. I just wish I had slightly different People's Republic of South Australia. Yeah, cool. Alright. If you'd said Melbourne, I would have said, hey, let's hang out and drive some stuff. Do we do it? It's tempting. Guys, I might actually end this live stream here because I need to go out to the shed, find my actual nice bits, and I'll cut this nicely. Because there's not much else to do on this now. I just need to get the holes done properly, which I'm going to do. But ain't she a beauty, eh? I will have a video coming for this soonish. We've got a few cars coming next. Something doesn't seem right here. I've done something wrong. Tell you what, just before we go, something's wrong here. Anybody notice the camber on these rear wheels? That cannot be intentional. That cannot be intentional. I mustn't have got the lengths right of these links or something. I was so careful though. they're out, like they're just out so far. It's pretty crazy. I will correct that. Let's just have a quick squeeze here. Yeah, when it's heavy, it's gonna make it. It doesn't really matter how much protection you've got on the body. I'm finding that with the X-Max as well, and even with the poor old Creighton. All right. Now this is rear. This is rear. 35.5 was the prescribed length. What did we end up with? Can't really reach it now. It's in the car. We'll have to just do a bit of a dodgy measure here. 36.8. Well, that explains things. We can just wind that in with a. Well, I haven't got a spanner here actually. I'll probably do somewhere. We can just wind this in. Yeah, I'll fix this off camera. Yeah, it's a nice looking body, isn't it? Right. Well, I'll fix my my camber. I'll get these body holes done, and I'll get this onto a track, and we'll get it onto a video. Guys, thanks heaps for watching. It was fun just tooling around with this thing, wasn't it? What a beauty this car is. It's so nice. We know it's just under 2.5 kilos with my electronics that I've installed. Look at these arms. I mean, look at that. They're just super primo. This is very nice. Look at the steering angle. Oh boy, it's so crazy. Because of the angle of that, of where this is mounted, that last little bit, it's so nuts. It's just so nuts. See that last little bit? Boom. That is fun. So this is cool. Yeah, throw me a like, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Watch out for this video. It's coming soon. We have now at least 10 110 scale short course truck, desert truck, or trophy trucks. I've got them. They're all around me. I've got 10, and possibly there'll be 12 at the end of all this. They're each going to get their own video. Then I'll do a big roundup of who should buy this, who shouldn't buy this, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and hopefully make something useful for you for a comparison. But this Tekno is actually not the most expensive. It'll be one of the most expensive ones in the roundup, but it's also one of only 2 kits in the roundup. The rest of them are ready to run. But what a pearler this is, eh? I'm really looking forward to getting it out on the dirt. So that's cool. It's been fun. Thanks heaps, guys. I really appreciate you watching along the chat here. In fact, this live streaming experiment's been really good. I love that it's just a pop-up community, because this little chat room of just you guys is now about to be gone, and then you have to find it somewhere else. I'll catch you on RC Remedy. Check out RC Remedy tomorrow. I think is at 10:30 GMT plus 10, so convert that to whatever you will. Just check out his channel and it'll have a countdown. It's his episode number 20, and he's going to have a bunch of people on from previous shows, so I'll be there, and we'll just have some fun, and I'll be working on my BC8 8x8 here on the bench while we're just hanging out. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you again on RC-TNT. Cheers.